We just had one of the wildest Woj bombs over the past couple years as Damian Lillard has been traded. And it wasn't to the Toronto Raptors. A team came out of nowhere as the Milwaukee Bucks have acquired Damian Lillard, according to Adrian Wojnarowski coming out and saying the Blazers have dealt guard Damian Lillard to the Bucks, and the package is absolutely insane. So basically, how the deal is structured is the Portland Trailblazers are receiving Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and Toumani Camara, as well as a 2029 unprotected first-round pick and unprotected pick swaps in 2028 as well as 2030. And the Phoenix Suns are also landing Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. So this package is absolutely insane. They're three-team deals, multi-team deals. They always go crazy in terms of how the packages might go, but we've heard for weeks the rumors about the Toronto Raptors potentially landing Damian Lillard, and Shams had it ready. The Raptors were so close that Shams of The Athletic came out and basically reported that the Raptors were acquiring Damian Lillard, as he had this tweet ready to go. It was put out there on tweets, x.com, whatever the heck you want to call it, but basically Shams came out and said Portland, Toronto, and Phoenix have agreed to a 4-team trade in terms of acquiring Damian Lillard and all that sort of stuff. So the past half hour has just been bonkers. It's been bananas. And apparently the Raptors were this close to acquiring Damian Lillard, this close that Shams almost tweeted it. He did tweet it, and then he deleted it immediately. But for a few seconds there, Raptors fans thought that they acquired Damian Lillard, which is absolutely insane to think about. It's insane to think that the Milwaukee Bucks acquired him, out of, the Heat were the main destination talked about the entire summer. The Raptors came on as of late as a potential destination. The Celtics, the Sixers, no one on earth thought the Milwaukee Bucks could slide in here and end up acquiring Damian Lillard. And they ended up doing it. Somehow, the Blazers ended up accepting that bid from the Milwaukee Bucks over the package from the Toronto Raptors. And the package is pretty solid. They're getting Jrue Holiday. I imagine the 4-team deal involving the Toronto Raptors, it would have involved Ayton going to the Portland Trailblazers as well, but I think the draft capital is what really put it over the top for the Portland Trailblazers, given the fact an unprotected 2029 first from Milwaukee, as well as 2 pick swaps that are also unprotected. Given what Giannis has sort of made out into the public and his comments on wanting to win a championship, all that type of stuff, the Bucks have gone all in before. When they acquired Jrue Holiday, they went all in saying, hey, we're going to give all of our picks to the New Orleans Pelicans for the foreseeable future and then go in for a chip. And you know what? The Milwaukee Bucks ended up winning one. And now with the picks that slowly have trickled back, they're going all in again, acquiring Damian Lillard and edging out the Toronto Raptors in terms of what they could have offered. And given this sort of range in terms of what the Portland Trailblazers ended up actually receiving from Damian Lillard, it feels like a package that was likely competing with, to the point where it was literally the last second Shams ended up tweeting the wrong tweet, but I imagine it would have involved OG Anunoby, Grady Dick, and less future draft capital. That's just sort of what I picture, how I picture this scenario going, and I was thinking about titling this video. I'm still not 100% sure, but this is devastating for the Raps because not only do we not miss out on Damian Lillard, but we also have the Milwaukee Bucks in our conference, amped up, we're really rejuvenized at this point with Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, hopefully for them at least a healthy Chris Middleton, and now the Toronto Raptors not only lose out on Dame, but the hopes of potentially landing Giannis in the future are also looking bleak. So, it's devastating in that realm, but the more you think about it, obviously extreme emotions happen as you're recording something, 5 minutes after it's occurred, but the Toronto Raptors do get to keep Grady Dick, they get to hold on to OG Anunoby, they get to hold on to different pieces, and we can sort of retool and figure out where to go from here. And currently the roster is looking solid. It doesn't look like we're going to take a massive improvement from last season, just from what we've seen, unless Darko Rajakovic, which I was actually planning on making a video this evening about some comments that he's made, but we'll discuss that in the next video, because this one is just too mad, too crazy. But currently the Raptors roster is looking like it's going to be this way heading into training camp, heading into the season. There's no really other big fish out there on the open market except for one other name. And maybe this guy deserves his whole potential video, or we'll just discuss it here now, as the Blazers remain engaged elsewhere on deals and are expected to immediately engage contending teams on trade talks to move Jrue Holiday, sources tell ESPN. Portland's committed to its young core and group of talented guards. So basically, it looks like Jrue Holiday is now the guard on the market in the Raptors. I don't know if we'd be considered a contending team at this point, certainly not, but are a squad that still doesn't have clear depth at the point guard position. Yes, Dennis Schroeder can be the starter for this roster, and Scotty Barnes is going to be expected to have the ball in his hands more so for the future, but there's a lot less sort of established guys backing those players. I mean, Malachi Flynn couldn't get out of the doghouse from Nick Nurse. We have Marquise Noel saying that he's going to be the greatest Raptor of all time, and now it's looking like he'll have the opportunity to prove it, so he'll be potentially getting some run. And Jeff Doughton Jr. is the point guard that a lot of Toronto Raptors fans are hoping gets that backup slot, gets that backup role. However, he's not even looking like he's going to make the roster at this point, given how everything is sort of constructed with guaranteed contracts and everything that's gone on. And that's another thing that this sucks for Jeff Doughton Jr., as it feels like Messai Ujiri has been planning a blockbuster trade this entire season. I mean, you look at sort of the imbalance in terms of how this roster has looked going into this year, in terms of how players' contracts are lining up. I mean, 3 of our top guys are unrestricted free agents come next summer. So that's a big mess. Positionally, we're not that balanced. A little bit more balanced than we were last season, but not to a great extent. Obviously, the Jakob Poeltl trade helped with that a bunch, but losing Fred VanVleet, replacing him with Dennis Schroeder, right? We're about the same where we were at the close of last year, but it just felt like Messai Ujiri, this roster has a lot of talent. It has a lot of pieces that I am excited about. I think we have a lot of good players on this Toronto Raptors team, but as a team, right, unlike those 2018, 2019 teams that were, better than the collection in 2020, certainly, right? That all the pieces, we had talent, but they were better as a unit, right? Just how everything sort of fit. It made complete sense. The Raptors right now have, I think, a lot of talent, have a lot of really nice pieces, a lot of great players, but unfortunately, they just don't really fit. It doesn't really make sense how this roster looks. And given everything we've heard about blockbuster trades regarding Pascal Siakam, regarding, Damian Lillard now at this point this entire summer. I mean, it feels like Messai Ujiri is sort of banking on one of these moves, one of these big deals ended up going down. And as a lot of people have said, you can only go all in once. And I agree that Damian Lillard's probably not worth going all in. And I feel like that package, if we had to sacrifice a bunch of future first round picks to acquire Dame, I feel like with our younger assets, maybe a Grady Dick could have offset some of those future firsts. But that would have been a tough package to compete with. It would have been tough to give up that equal value for the Toronto Raptors team, which isn't in the position the Milwaukee Bucks currently are in. They aren't in that sort of spot where, hey, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, we have Chris Middleton hopefully back healthy for their squad. Brook Lopez looks like a newer version of himself. That team is properly competing for a championship next season. The Raptors would have to tinker more. They'd have to make more moves in order for it to happen. So is it devastating the Raptors missed out on Damian Lillard? No. The team that he went to is probably the worst team he could have went to, even including the Miami Heat and other teams in our division, like the Celtics or the Sixers or something along those lines. That is what it is, but holy smokes, this absolutely shocked me. This move I am just absolutely flabbergasted by everything that's gone on. Wouldn't be surprised if more trades, more stuff is sort of happening here now at this point. I'll have to check my phone after, but folks, you guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Unfortunately, the Raptors didn't make a cool shakeup, bring some excitement to the season, but I am happy with at least the talent we have on the roster now at this point. But let me know what you guys think about the Raptors missing out on Damian Lillard. You guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel anyways. I'm signing out. Cheers.